Hello, good people of YouTube. Today I'm bringing you a replay from Daniel. He sent me this, and he is in the Tier 5 Italian premium battleship, the Giulio Cesare, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Julius Caesar. And look at that, that's a very nice looking boat. Something interesting I found on it when I was looking around is it has this, whoops, come on, free view. It has that carving right there beneath the third turret. I'm sure that's supposed to have something to do with Julius Caesar as well. I'm not well versed in the history of this. Let me go back to Daniel's view. I'm not very well versed in the history of this battleship, besides knowing that I believe it served in both World Wars. Didn't really get to do too much in World War II, and then the Soviets took it from, or well, it got transferred to the Soviets from Italy after the end of the war in, I believe, 1949. And then it got scrapped thereafter. But from this ship's in-game reputation, I know, 1, its guns are supposedly very accurate. 2, it has very, very thin side armor. I know the latter because I have citadelled many a Caesar. I'm just going to call it Caesar. I'm 99% sure it's named after Julius Caesar. And my Italian pronunciation is very poor. And I know it has weak side armor because I've citadelled it many a time. So Daniel is in a standard battle. These are standard, but I don't really like standard battle too much, mainly because there's just a whole lot of camping in it, especially at tier 10, and I mostly play at tier 10. There's a whole lot of camping and just staring at each other from 20 kilometers away, waiting for one team to mess up. And there's also 2 carriers in this game. You can't tell from the sheer amount of planes flying around, and that will come into factor later in the match. So look, oh, this is a nice broadside Japanese cruiser. He had his HE loaded. He's now switching to AP. And do they hit? Do they hit? Yes. Holy crap! He knocked out that guy's steering gear, torpedoes, and engine. Dear God. I have viewed this before, but I must have missed that part when I watched it the first time. Dang, rip that cruiser. Does he get a nice follow-up shot on it? What kind of shotguns are there? And yeah, those guns do look really accurate, especially by tier 5 standards. I mean, most tier 5 battleships, the New York, Texas, October Revolution, their guns are not accurate at all. The only reason the October Revolution guns are, I would say, accurate per se is just by the sheer volume. Oh, and the Caesar here does have a 12-inch main battery guns. A 12-inch main battery guns? No, she has 12-inch main battery guns. Me always fell into English when I stated, "Ooh, torpedoes!" Looks like he's going to take one, but they run out of steam before they even get to touch his ship. This ship, I find it's quite in contrast to the Roma. Ooh, that destroyer is rather close. Ooh. I think he just tagged him lightly on the stern there. And at first, when I saw this clip, I was like, "Good God, the AA from the Caesar here is pretty dang good." But you see what shot down all those planes here in a second. It's quite obvious by the paint job on the ship. Hi, Texas. Yeah, Daniel here only shot down 2 planes. The Texas took care of the rest, and that friendly fighter squadron above. But yeah, between the Roma and the Caesar's guns are so much more accurate than the Roma's. The dispersion is much better, and they just seem to really go well. Daniel points at, and like I said at the beginning of this replay, that is one of the things I've heard about the Caesar here, is that her main guns are pretty dang accurate. And yeah, after watching this replay, I'm gonna say her guns are pretty dang accurate. There's a Mayogi right there, taking some pot shots at Daniel here. Ooh. Luckily that wasn't a Citadel. I believe the Mayogi has 14-inch guns, if I remember correctly. I wasn't on the Mayogi for very long, however, Matty has played it with me a bunch when he was grinding the Japanese line. And he gets some HE off, sets 2 fires. Yeah, that's pretty good. Knocks out a secondary module. And does the Mayugi put those fires out? Yeah, the Mayugi put those fires out right away. Texas right there just ate a couple of torpedoes. Poor Texas. Daniel's team right now is currently 3 ships in the lead over the enemy team. And having quite a nice point lead, about 250 points right there. 245 points, it's a quick math. And looks like Daniel is getting to enjoy some very nice AA cover. And you can see he's in a pretty good position here. You can see the Mayugi right there, and then you can see this New York broadside. And he hasn't even left their cap zone yet. But this, I don't know what this New York's doing. He's just chilling there. His engines aren't on. He's just looking this direction. Originally I thought he was AFK, but as you see here in a second, he go ahead and fires, and he does try to run, but you'll see what happens to him when he tries to run away. You know, this is something you don't want to do at any tier. Just chill there and sit in the middle of the open like that. That's kind of dumb. That's really dumb. And ooh, gets a cool 18k off of that New York. New York retaliates with some HE. It's very odd that he has that loaded. Does set a fire on Daniel, but Daniel's at mostly full health, so he's in no risk of burning to death. Since New York didn't want to run, he eats a torpedo, and now that he's trying to run, his engine got knocked out there for a second, and he used damage. Ooh, look at that! That's a very nice group right there. And boom, another 14k off of that New York. But yeah, the New York actually lost his engine there for a second. He burned his damage con, and well, now he's out of damage con. There's something to note too. Daniel isn't using any premium consumables. He's going with stock consumables. So it makes the results of this battle even more impressive. So right now the teams are even in terms of ships killed. However, they have managed to kill, the enemy team managed to kill one of Daniel's team's battleships. So they do have a bit of a points lead. However, it's about to flip-flop here in a minute. This is a very close game all the way through. I will tell you all that right now. The Mayugi again is selling broadside to Daniel. However, he's still alive. Daniel got a little screwed by RNG there. He got some pretty good hits, but at the same time, the rest either overpinned or missed. And let's see if he can finish this Mayugi off finally. And nope, gets one overpin. Good old Orange Jesus. Oh, hi, Königsberg. I believe this is Königsberg. Can you check? Yeah, it's Königsberg. Oof. Königsberg managed to bounce. Daniel shells. That was a very fun cruiser to play when I was going up the German cruiser line. However, holy crap, if Daniel will see in a second, a destroyer has suddenly popped off about 6 kilometers away from his ship and has popped smoke. And ooh, is he gonna take these? Another run out of steam. Oh, low tier destroyers. It never fails to amaze me the amount of torpedoes stopping perfectly short of hitting their target. It's very relieving after playing so much tier 9 and 10 games, because those torpedoes go on for forever. Alright, now both teams have lost 5 ships, but again, because the enemy team has sunk more battleships, they do have the points advantage again. And turns out, well, the Mitsuki was briefly capping the enemy's cap, but the other teams, Guilio Cesare, managed to put an end to that. And it's kind of odd if you look at the map. Daniel's team has kind of just gone into the enemy cap one at a time, which has allowed the enemy team to pretty much just stomp them. And now Daniel is moving up a bit closer. However, that cruiser in front of him has a very low health. And at this point, the enemy team now has a ship advantage over Daniel's team. And that ship advantage is about to grow a little bit more here in a second. I look, it's the Mayugi again. Maybe Daniel can finish him off this time. And there goes the Kuma. So now it is 4 ships against. He breaks that Mayugi's turret. 4 ships against 7 ships. This is not looking too good for Daniel's team. And 2 of the ships left on Daniel's team are aircraft carriers. Which, I mean, it's good that they still have all their carriers this late in the game, but the enemy team still has all their carriers too. And, you know, it's mostly battleships left alive on the enemy team. So Daniel just going to have to put in some work, being one of the 2... Oh, speaking of work, there goes the Mayogi, being one of the 2 battleships left on his team. And here, this is the point at which I sat up in my chair when I was watching this replay back. Because this is a pretty big disadvantage to come back from. However, since there are 2 carriers left in the game, that means 1 carrier can fully focus their fighter planes and torpedo bombers and such to each battleship. So that is, I mean, if you're going to have 4 ships left, then you have 2 carriers. You only want the 2 carriers to be 2 of those ships left alive. And, ooh, he takes some... Oh! Is he going to dodge these? Is he going to dodge them? Yep, he easily dodges them. That Iron Duke took some shells from Daniel and some torpedoes from his team's carrier. He is gone. The Zuho, however you say that, took care of him. Is that the Königsberg again? Yep, sure is. He's still alive. Königsberg decides to show that island's who's boss and shoots the island. Probably cuts down a couple trees in the process. And uh-oh, the enemy battleships are sneaking up behind Daniel. And what is important to note here, Daniel is all by his lonesome on this side of the map. Daniel's fellow battleship, the Mayogi, the friendly Mayogi, is over there with the 2 carriers in the northwestern side of the map. And Daniel is over here in the middle of the map all by his lonesome self. However, the carrier is doing a very good job of providing him with AA cover, as you see right there. And now Daniel is chasing the Königsberg around the island while trying to get some shells on the enemy, Guilio Cesare, which he unfortunately was not able to do because of the terrain. And now he has just used his last repair, which means, since, you know, if he had a premium repair, he'd have 1 more after this, but he doesn't, so this is his last one. So after this 1 repair runs out, he will not be able to recover any more health. He is, however, quite bravely pushing the enemy cap at this point. Which, I mean, yeah. Because if you look at the mini-map, you can see that the 3 enemy ships left are now chasing after the Mayogi up there in the northwestern side of the map. And here's this Königsberg again. Comes around the side of the island, full broadside to Daniel right here. Daniel gets a shot off on him, but... Ooh, RNG says no, and Daniel only gets 3 overpins. Very, very tragic. The tragedy that every battleship player has to experience once or twice in their life, so probably more than that. Probably once or twice per game, if not more. Ooh, that's a nice chunk of Daniel's health gone. And the enemy, Guilio Cesare, or Julius Caesar, has just shown up along with the other enemy. Now look at this, they are now balanced. At this point, I believe the carrier, or no, the Mayogi sunk the Königsberg. At this point, Daniel is doing the right thing. He has turned around and now is running away, if not doing a little bit of kiting here, back to his cap. He has the points advantage. There is no more need for him to push. And ooh, thought that was going to be a citadel. Unfortunately, it was not. And oh, hi, enemy carriers. What are you guys doing? So now that the enemy carriers have been found, that's where the fun begins. Still anybody's game. 4 ships alive on both teams. However, the enemy team will have to push to win. However, if you count the health of that last, of that other enemy battleship over there, he doesn't have a whole bunch left. And ooh, wow! Even angle, the ship takes some pretty bad pins from the side. Daniel rebuttals with a full broadside from his ship, and nukes that other ship out of existence. At the same time, the Mayogi takes care of the other Caesar. However you say that in Italian. Alright, what happens next is pretty freaking hilarious. I'm going to add in some music right here, real quick.
To the gates of hell! as we make our way to heaven through the Nazi lines.
Yeah, the enemy carriers are quite bravely charging into battle. It's pretty obvious they're out of planes, and up there's Confederate. So now that the those two carriers are evidently out of planes, rather than running away like most carriers do, these boys are just charging straight into battle. I mean, as fast as you can charge in a what is that? The Bogue. I think you can only go 16 kilometers in that, but he's sure is throttling that bad boy. Oh, that's a nice broadside right there. And that's HE too, and he gets a Citadel with HE. If he had AP loaded, he probably would have taken away about half of that Bogue's health. But now he has AP loaded now. I imagine he had HE loaded because when you set a carrier's deck on fire, if they don't have the captain skill, they can no longer take off or recover planes. Now, what carrier is that? That's the Hosho, yeah. Hosho is going bow on to Daniel right now. Daniel's just taking his dear sweet time, letting his other set of turrets rotate around. And oof, 2 Citadels from the front. That's a sweet 20k damage. Gets rid of most of that Hosho's health. And I believe his secondary is about to open up on him. He's about to get it to within his secondary range. However, if you can see the friendly torpedo bombers coming in to finish off that Hosho. And interesting enough, it looks like the Guilio Cesare's secondaries shoot AP. It's interesting. Most secondaries shoot HE, except for the was it the Fuso? No, the Nagato shoots AP. Oh, there's layers with this right here. If that isn't the saddest excuse for a ship porn I've heard of this game, besides the train whistle on God, what's that tier 6 British destroyer, Agile or whatever. That just sounds like such a dead horn there from that Zuiho, however you say that. I don't know these low tier ships names as well as I do with the high tier ones. But anyway, the Zuiho's, whatever, the Z's secondary is beginning to open up on that Bogue right there. That's rare. You know, the Japanese carrier just has to go brawling against the American carrier. And looks like we're going to get it. Yep. Is he going to get it? He gets one peck in on him for 970 damage. And then the Bogue gets taken out via Zuiho's torpedo bombers. And I must say, have we never seen, I mean, I've seen Cesare, however the hell you say that name. I've seen this ship before in battle, but I've never really watched gameplay from her, and being one of the few battleships that I actually haven't played in the game, she was like a pretty fun little ship, especially at tier 5. I mean, the ship is pretty fast, the turrets moved pretty good, and the guns were pretty dang accurate, especially for tier 5. But yeah, Daniel, that was a fantastic game, dude. That got really close there for a while. His team, man, his carriers put in some work. He put in a lot of work, and his Myogi that was even running away there for a second managed to come back in and help them win. But yeah, great game, Daniel. You did a fantastic job, bud. And if you have a replay you'd like to send in like Daniel did, just send it into the email link below, and you will have a chance to appear on the channel. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, if you send it in and it's pretty dang decent, I'm going to show it. I really enjoy showing off replays, and in the coming weeks, since the channel is having to change a bit, you'll be seeing more replays. I mean, it won't be majority replays, you'll just be seeing them more, probably 1 or 2 a week. But yeah, if you like the video, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. We're going to push to 200 subscribers, and we are just a couple of subscribers away from being a mere 80 subscribers away from getting to 300. And I mean, that's just, a week ago I was doing my 200 subscriber special live stream, and we are a quarter of the way almost to 300. That's just amazing for me, guys. You guys are amazing and fantastic. So with that being said, I hope to catch all of you guys in the next one.